Hey, Brinded here. This is my channel where I discuss kind of some of the stuff that I'm working on at the moment, potentially going into different clients. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to spread this work, which is extremely effective at calming the mind, helping you understand the mind and master it, and also master the body by understanding how the energy in the body needs to be balanced. And so I'm going to go into something today that I'm finding super interesting at the moment. It's going to be a brief overview of how I would work with a client. That could be just a average Joe client or a high performance type client, because when you're working in high performance, really what you're trying to do is to find the things that are weakening the client or the things that are glitchy and removing them so that the client can be their optimal self. So if you're suffering with anything, mentally, you got negative, melancholic thinking, you're always worried, you get triggered easily, or if you are more on the right side of a hamster wheel, as I explained, you're going to have also problems where you're going to experience unableness. The right-siders don't really like to work on themselves. You might be one of those super competitive, self-confident. If you're watching this, it will be because you're going into a bit of a, let me just turn up that. Yeah, you're going into a swinging to the left side of the hamster wheel. So I'm going to kind of explain that a little bit today, and also explain to you something I'm big into now. I've had a big realization on how I'll go into it. The 4 elements affect your health. So if you've got weird chronic things that don't ever clear up, there's always going to be a non-physical aspect to those. So I'll do an overview of it today. So it's just going to be me talking about some of the things I'm interested in at the moment. So this is sort of the framework that I start with a client. What I'm doing here is I go into how the mind works, the truth about why it does, the glitchiness of it, and how to overcome it. If I have a client who comes to see me with a chronic illness, there will be this, the mind will be impacting them, because the body shows you where you're running faulty coding or lies or untruths when you're out of balance. So your body's there just to show you when you're all the things that show up in the body are symptoms of something much deeper. So the mind works in duality. So if you watch very closely when you're thinking, there'll be 5 programs at the base of the thought. So it could be a big story. You might have woken up, you might have woken up in the night and you're going over a thing that's bothering you, something stressing you, or that person, the way they spoke to you, whatever. But if you come down to the root of the thought, it's going to be one of 5. So I'm going to go to one of the hamster wheels today. It's going to be unable and able. You would think that most people want to be able. They love being able. Everyone loves being able. But unconsciously, a lot of people are running a different type of defense system that doesn't make sense to us logically and rationally. So when I'm talking with a client, I'll say, you've got this thing going on. And they go, what? No, I want. That doesn't make any sense. But we're running programs that are unconscious, we're not aware of, and that were developed in early childhood. So most people, there's 2 places where you'll want to be safe with this. What I mean by that is, this is the right side, and it's more yang. So it's kind of doing. This is the left side, and it's yin, and it's non-doing. So this is usually, creative, competitive, and these are more passive, like to be introverted, but can be feel unable. They lack confidence. These people don't lack confidence. So when I'm working with someone, it's really quite simple. Within about 1 minute, you can tell if they're right-sider or left-sider. What that means is the way their mind works is they're either going to be jammed up on the right or the left. Now, what does it mean jammed up? Well, if you're a righty, then you spend all your time being up here as able as possible. And for a right-sider, this is safe. Now, valuable is also value able. So what that means is that they spend all their time trying to be valuable. So valuable to others, being valuable, being seen as valuable, achieving is valuable, proving themselves, proving to others. So it's just constant, and they're never satisfied. So they're just constantly doing, and they can never stop. So but this position here, up on the hamster wheel, so all their thoughts are keeping them up here. So they're spinning on the hamster wheel. And you know that at some point a hamster wheel, because it's a closed loop, you're either going to get exhausted and the right-sider will burn out. And so when a right-sider goes here or flips hard, they burn out hard, or they get an illness, or they get very depressed. So when I'm working with a right-sider, they will usually only come to me when they're over here, which for the right-sider is danger. And when I say danger, I mean they really can't look at it. They're usually, when you're working with them, you have to be very careful, because they're not going to like being seen as unable, and they're constantly, their program that's running them is constantly making them go, oh, I'm going to be able to do this now. So it's a very difficult program to work with when someone's a right-sider. So again, I only normally work with them if they're very intelligent. They've been through the cycle of boom and bust in their health or mental side, and they come to a point where you go, this isn't working for me anymore. So I recently started working with a gentleman, maybe about 60. And he's a classic. Like, he knows he knows there's something wrong, and he doesn't want to be trapped anymore with this boom and bust. But a lot of times they'll only come to me when they're completely unable, and they will be asking for help because they're really, really struggling, or they're extremely ill, and the body will show them. Does that make sense? They're not going to choose to do it. So they're so able, such perfectionists, and then they'll get a chronic sort of autoimmune disorder or cancer or something, which makes them stop. The body's trying to, balance their glitchy software, yeah? So they'll come back over here. This is dangerous. They want to get back there as soon as possible. When I'm working with a righty, they have to balance this side out, and I explain how to do that. But otherwise, they'll just go straight back in. The energy always balances, okay? The energy in this realm or universe, whatever you want to call it, it always balances. Now, if you're a very sort of logical person, you go, oh, this is bullshit. We're not all connected. There's no energy. We're all just mechanistic sort of animals. Well, you need to look and don't let your learning get in the don't let your education get in the way of your learning. So the more you observe your mind and you understand, you really watch this and you observe, you'll see that this program is running, and you will see that you constantly bring in the same people, you do the same behavior, and you pull in experiences and illnesses to balance this. But don't trust me, verify yourself. Now, if you're a lefty, you want to be up here, you want to be this person, but you just always self-sabotage. You can never keep anything going. You lack confidence, you get confused, you're not sure. And so actually for a lefty, this is safe and this is danger, which sounds crazy, right? But if you watch your own behavior, you watch and you observe your thinking and you look for these 5 hamster wheels, they're in everyone. You'll see that if you're lefty, so you're, you lack confidence, you support everyone, you're a nice person, you feel a bit unable, but you could be very able in your job, but kind of deep in your bones, you feel like you're not good enough or there's something wrong. You feel like you do things wrong, or, you try and do things right, but things go wrong. People let you down. You support others, they let you down. So lefties I know lefties because I've been a lefty. And so crazy enough, like the righties, you can understand that is massive danger to be unable, which is why all, Olympic athletes or world champions, they're over here. They hate and they make others unable. They're good at making others unable. Like Conor McGregor, he's extreme right. He hates to be unable. He makes other people unable, very good at that for a living. He's awesome. But then he will spin back hard and experience complete unableness, whether it be addiction or relationship or something. He'll always balance. You always balance, right? Now, with the lefties, they always come back to feeling unable, which is safe. So it's more of a lower energy. Now, I'm going into this at a little bit higher level. When I work with a client, I explain it as simply as possible. But for these videos, I want to get some of my thoughts out. Now, when I've been working with this for a long time now, and I can see very quickly someone's pattern, and I can tell pretty much everything about their lives because this program runs them. So if they're on the right, I kind of know the type of partner they will be with, problems in their business, etc. And if you're a lefty, I can explain to you exactly why you do everything, why nothing seems to ever take off, etc. And why, either you're on here and you've got physical ailments or pain, you need to understand your mind, both left and right. When this is really glitching, is spinning too hard, your body's going to show you the problems. Your mind is going to show up in your body. Now, something I've been looking at with me personally, like when I'm working with clients, it can be quite black and white, but then other people are a little bit more, it's a little bit more subtle with their behaviors. And I've been looking at that for a while going, I wonder what's going on there. I wonder if I'm missing something, and I've been looking for it. And so now I've found it. So yin qualities, there are the human body and everyone is made up of 4 elements. So they are water, earth, and then on this side you've got fire and air. Everyone's made up of the 4 elements, and the yin qualities or the elements for the feminine are water and earth. So water is moist, earth is dry, fire is dry, air is moist, but these are warm and these are cold. So those are qualities of the yin, of the feminine and masculine. So they make up our constitution. So you'll all know someone, or maybe yourself, you've got fire types. They're my righties. They're extremely driven, competitive, hot-tempered, always on the go, burn the candle both ends. Air quality is more light, sociable, don't hold on to things, joker, light-hearted. It's a nice quality, my predominant one. And then you've got earth, which is more grounded, and wisdom and deep, profound thinking, and water, which is sort of synergistic and easygoing and flowing. And so these kind of constitutional ways of describing someone, or understanding your elemental constitution. What happens with this is when these are out of balance, the body starts to show it, and so does the thinking. So for instance, the four humors are another way of talking about this. The earth is melancholic. So when someone is overly caught in their mind and they're feeling unable, there's no energy there. There's no, they become imbalanced. They become too, what's called melancholic, and they start to become too down thinking, kind of depressed, slow thinking, not movable, fixed. This is when the earth collapses. If you go, when water becomes imbalanced, you can have stagnation. If you collapse into both of these, which is a pattern that happens with left-siders, you're going to get stagnant, boggy, wet, and you're going to get immune issues, bad skin, autoimmune disorders. Yeah, when this gets imbalanced. So when I'm working with the left and someone is overly on the left, I'll be looking to understand a little bit more about their constitution. So if you can also have one of each. So I know someone who is fire earth, or you can have fire water, or minor air earth. So what happened with me was I became way too serious and stressed with my work, especially working in football. I think that took it out of me. There was no fun. It was so serious and pressured that I fell into my earth, and my earth collapsed and buried my air, which was my fun and joy. And my body started to get heavier, and I was kind of stuck to the ground. I started getting heavier legs, and I fell into kind of more water, so it was stagnant energy and cold. So what I'm saying is this gives more subtlety to understanding the left and the right. So when I'm working with someone now, if let's say they are, fire earth, and they're on the right, and they're really, you can see they're restless, they can't sleep at night, maybe they're getting inflammation in their body and problems, say, with their liver, anger, their works spiraling out of control, then they will need to balance out that energy within them by adding cooling or moistening foods, and they will want to do competitive sports. No, that pushes them even more out of balance. So these four elements can be used to balance out this overall mind-body imbalance. And so bringing them over here. And most definitely when a lefty is a melancholic and low energy and stagnant, it happens all the time when I'm working with clients, then we want to dry them out or warm them up by using spices, herbs. And it is absolutely fascinating. So what I do is I have this very thorough questionnaire that my clients go through now, and they explain, and what it does is it tells them their constitution, how they were when they were born, what they should be like, and then based on their ailments or their problems, you can see where they've gone out of balance. So it's a framework that fits over on this hamster wheel. And what I found personally with this work is when you really get the hamster wheel work under, you really understand it, and it can happen. It's not like this. You have to levitate and what is it when you get enlightened? Enlightenment is understanding that you're not your mind, and the more you can see your behaviors and they shift, it works. So with my book, if you haven't already got it, I highly recommend getting Glitch. Explains you how to do it, and then you can do it yourself. You're free. I've been troubled by negative thinking, anxiety, just low self-esteem all my life, and this has dissolved it. So I never thought it was possible, but through this work, makes it very easy. You could, Krishnamurti, you could read his stuff, but most people are like, how do you do this? And so this is a very simple way. And when this calms down, what I have experienced is you start to feel these 4 elements within you much more clearly, because there's no mental disturbance. So you wake up in the morning, you go, oh, I'm feeling heavy. So then like a garden, I start to choose, okay, I'm going to have eggs, which are kind of neutral, or I can have a warming food, or I add, piri sauce or pepper and have ginger tea with cinnamon and cloves. And that I can feel lightens me up. Then I go on my rebound or I go for a walk, because I need to balance out that energy. So what I see is I'm getting much more feedback from my body about how I am. I'm not in my mind spinning. It's because this is old program. There's nothing, there's no kind of solutions there. It's just going to keep you trapped. So when this dissolves, then you start to become much more present, and that biofeedback with your body is clear, and it's awesome. It's amazing. And you start to move. Okay, I'm going to bring in a bit more fire and drying. So I'm going to have this tea, maybe this essential oil. I no longer am using any supplement except for thiamine. I don't know why. Thiamine seems to be working nicely for my nerves. But what I'm trying to do is I'm balancing out all my symptoms. It could be skin tags, or dry skin, or low energy, or digestion, or libido, or eyes, anything in your when you balance this out, that will clear it. We've lost the intelligence to be able to see the body as a whole. We've gone in looking at smaller and smaller things, looking for the answers. There's no answers down there. We have to go like primitive. That's not primitive, it's intelligent. We have to observe our mind, we have to observe the body. And there's another layer to this, which I wanted to explain. What I've noticed is the feedback between me and my environment and my realm, or whatever you want to call it, my universe or my life. And because this has calmed down, then I'm no longer constantly on the run, and I'm just present. With my body, I can feel the lightness or the fire or the water. I can feel these 4 elements. And the more I work with it, the more I am my own master. I'm the master gardener. So I've understood that mind, and now I understand my body as a garden, and I can work with it. And what I'm noticing is there's a biofeedback between me and my environment. Now, of course, I've known this, I've been doing this work for 30 years. I know there's signs and, what do they call it? Serendipity, and no such thing as coincidence. I know that I've experienced amazing ones throughout my life. But this has become extremely subtle and obvious. So I start thinking about a garden, like a garden, a herb garden. The house comes. There's a house we're looking at now with a big garden. I said, I don't know if I've talked about it, there's a ballet school in the UK that I might be working with this year. They want me to come in as a lecturer. And I saw the signs, I saw the name of the place in a movie, and then I was driving near it in the UK by accident, and so I saw those signs, and I called up, and it just was effortless. Then there are signs here, and I'm starting to watch for them more because I'm much more sensitive, and they are there. So for me, this universe is just remarkable in that there's no separation. When we're caught in our minds, we suffer. And the harder we spin, the more we're out of balance, and the more we damage our body, or the body says, hey, look, you need to get a handle on this. But no one really knows how to. And they look for different supplements, or, this or that. Everything on this channel is about how to do it So you become self-sovereign over your health and your mental health, and then over your reality. So it's mastery, but it's not control. It's just a way to understand yourself, and then you can set yourself free, and then you can follow the way, the non-doing, the effortless way of not forcing anything in life, because everything is very calm, and you see the signs and you go with it. So yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the water, earth, fire, and air as it relates to the yin yang of the hamster wheels. You might find that interesting to look into yourself. If you're a client and you want to, or you'd like to work with me and find out your elemental profile, I can book a session. I do that, and then we can go through it and tell you exactly what foods, what you need to do to balance yourself. It's absolutely the most valuable thing you can do. So stop talking. Any comments or questions, pop them underneath. I'll get back to you. Love if you could like the video if you thought it was valuable, and subscribe. Thanks so much, everyone. Cheers.